Hello students, you must be staying safe and staying at home. Let us give a knock to your brain so that you are ready for your science session. Your first chapter is crop production and management. You must have realized by now during this lockdown that crop is very important. Crop production is very important and management of this crop production is again very important. You must have seen farmer using tools like khurpi, sickle, shovel, plow in the field, sowing the seeds, ploughing the field, watering the field, that is irrigation, which is very important for a farmer. Now why are they doing this? This crop is our basic need. You have learned that all living things need food to survive. Even plants need food. Plants can make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Animals including humans depend for their food on the plants or animals. But first of all, why do we eat this food? This food is important to get energy. Food is utilized by organism for carrying out their body functions like digestion, respiration, circulation, excretion. And we get this food from plants or animals or both. Now, to get this food regularly, and since India is a populated country, as you know, we need food on a large scale. So, proper management and distribution of these food is very necessary. Crop is very necessary. So now the question arises, what is this crop? When plants of same kind are cultivated at one place on a large scale, it is called a crop. Like for example, crop of wheat means that all the plants grown in a field are that of wheat. Now the crops are of different types like cereals, vegetables and fruits, and they are classified on the basis of the region in which they grow. You have studied so far these crops, cereals are monocots and they provide your basic need of energy like carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, etc. Now India is a very vast country and climatic conditions like temperature, humidity and rainfall, they vary from one region to another. That means climate in Gujarat is different from climate in Kashmir, isn't it? So accordingly the crop is grown seeing the climatic condition. Now crops are of variety. Despite their diversity, we can have two broad cropping patterns. They are Kharif crops and Rabi crops. The crops which are sown in the rainy season are called Kharif crops. You know, the rainy season in India is generally from June to September. The crops which are grown are like paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut and cotton. We have Rabi crops, the crops which are grown in the winter season, that is October to March. They are called Rabi crops. Examples of Rabi crops are wheat, gram, pea, mustard and linseed. You know, these Rabi crops which are grown in winter, you will be getting it now, isn't it? Say for example wheat. If your mother is storing wheat, she will be buying wheat in this season, in this months, like March, April, May. Besides these, pulses and vegetables are grown during summer at many places. So you have learned that crops have two patterns, kharif crops and rabi crops. Kharif crops, which are sown in the rainy season, like paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut, and paddy is like somewhat like rice. So you can remember it like this. Rice is a kharif crop and wheat is a rabi crop. When do you get wheat? Wheat you get it in summer, but it is sown in winter. So it is rabi crops and kharif crops. Rice you get it in December, and that means it is sown in the rainy season. So it is a kharif crop. So this is the basic technique to remember the types of crop. Crop means what? It is when some cereal is grown on a large scale in one field, we call it as a crop. Crop has two patterns, kharif crop and rabi crop. Now basic practices of crop production are, first of all, you must have seen the farmers, how they are doing it. When they are cultivating crops, what are the steps you must have seen? In our school, you must have observed the opposite panas field, what they do. What they do first is, yes, they first plow the soil. Why do they plow the soil? To make it loose. And then it is raked over. Means it is made into smoother texture so that they can sow seeds. So first step is plowing. Second is they add some manure also, manure or fertilizer. Then they sow the seeds. After sowing the seeds, what is there? First, manure and irrigation. First thing they is water these seeds, water the field. Then when these plants have some unwanted plants in between, and these unwanted plants, extra plants which are growing along with the main crop, we call it as weeds. So we have to protect the main crop from weeds. Then when the crop is ripe, it has to be cut. That is called harvesting. After harvesting, they process it, and whatever grains, crops they get, it has to be stored properly, otherwise it will be spoiled. So that is why in these agricultural practices, the steps are, first you have to prepare the soil. Second is you have to sow the seeds. Third, you have to add manure or fertilizer. Then fourth is irrigate the field. Then protect the crop from weeds, harvest it and storage. Now, as I said, preparation of soil is the first step before growing a crop. The most important task in agriculture is to turn it upside down. Why? Why do we turn it upside down? So that the soil is soft and it becomes loose. Why loose soil you need? The loose soil allows the roots to breathe easily, even when they go deep into the soil. So roots, they need air, as you know. Everyone needs air. So the roots has to go deep down to get water also. Now if the soil is tightly packed, suppose just in case, suppose in the class it is fully occupied, will you be able to move? No. So that is why, even the same way, roots also need some space to go deep, to take fresh air. So that is why the soil has to be prepared. It has to be plowed properly, or we call it as loosening of soil. It allows the roots to breathe easily. Now, your first question is, why does this loosening of soil is important? You should try to remember this. This loosened soil helps in the growth of earthworms and microbes. Earthworms, as you know, they are called the friends of farmer. Why? Because when this earthworm moves, they make space, they create space. As a result, the soil becomes little loose. Now, these earthworm, what they give out? What they excrete? Soil. So again, soil mixed with soil, and that is how the soil becomes rich. Now farmers, they add some humus to it. These earthworms also help, microbes also help in turning whatever the fossils, dead leaves or plants, to turn it into humus. This humus is porous, means it has some holes in it. Because of these, water and air can be exchanged easily and soil becomes rich. This rich soil helps the plant to grow easily and with nutrients. Porous soil helps the nutrients, and roots can absorb these nutrients from the soil easily. Now, how do we prepare the soil? What can we use? We can use plow, instruments like plow, and nowadays farmers, they use tractors also. You have seen in the field opposite in the Panas, they use tractors nowadays. The loosening of the soil, which is also called plowing or tilling, is done by using a plow, or it can be done by using tractor also. Now earlier days, the plows were made out of wood or iron. If the soil is very dry, it may need watering before plowing. The plowed field may have big lumps or crumbs, and so it has to be broken, it has to be made even. So leveling of the soil is also done with the help of a leveler, and manure is added to the soil before tilling so as it mixed well with the soil, and the next process becomes easy. So which agricultural implements we can use? We can use plow and tractor also. And farmers can add some manure at the same time. Plow is being used since ancient times for tilling the soil, adding fertilizers, removing weeds, and turning the soil. You have seen plow. I would like you to draw a plow. What imagination you have of a plow, you can draw it on a paper. Wooden plow or iron plow. Hoe is again a simple tool which is used for removing weeds. Now these are some implements which we use for making our agriculture process simple, like plow, hoe, cultivator. We can also use harvester. In your book, in your diagram, you can see plow, right? You have seen all these, I am sure of it. So now next class, we will go ahead with the next procedure after plowing and sowing, manuring. We will learn about manure and fertilizer.